What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Sunshine Cup featuring a Pokemon that used to dominate pretty much every limited meta it is eligible for, including the Sunshine Cup, and that Pokemon is Vigoroth, which received arguably the biggest nerf in Pokemon Go history a few seasons ago, where all three of its preferred moves were nerfed, with counter generating less energy, and both charge attacks, Body Slam and Rock Slide, dealing less damage. Vigoroth went from the safest Pokemon in these limited metas to a Pokemon that no one would even consider using anymore. No one except for this trainer Meso GR, who's decided to bring it back in a meta where quite a lot of teams are double or even triple weak to counter damage and wouldn't have even considered Vigoroth when building their teams. It is also worth mentioning that this team is also triple weak to fighting type damage, so we're kind of in the same boat. Now before we get into the question of the day, I want to give a quick shout out to Fajantica, Firan, Square Shoulder, Joseph Brown and Shenanigan Stone for their gifted memberships and donations in my recent live stream, as well as Chainsaw81. For whatever reason, their donation didn't come up on the live stream itself, so I've only got a image of them becoming a channel member, but they did also donate $10, so very much appreciate the support from all of you guys. And as well, I forgot to mention this at the time, but Joseph Brown, since he gifted 20 memberships, you do actually have the option to choose a future live stream theme if you have any ideas, so let me know in the comment section down below if you are watching this. But anyways, thank you guys for the support, and with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Which Pokemon that has been substantially nerfed in previous seasons, i.e. not Crunch on Drapey on this season because it hasn't really impacted it that much at all, do you still enjoy using in the Go Battle League? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Let's go into the first battle, leading Ursaluna into Talonflame. So of course we've got two counter users in the back. This is probably where we want to see the Talonflame. Vigoroth does have access to Rock Slide, but the pacing isn't going to be the best. So here, gonna fire off the Swift just before they do reach their first charge move, and the opponent gonna shield. Ursaluna should still be able to outpace them to the next charge attack, so we're gonna shield up the fly, and we can go straight for Swift number 2. Swift might actually grab the final shield from the opponent, and it does exactly that. The opponent gonna bank some energy. We're now going to swap into our Vigoroth as the opponent swaps into a Miltank. Now, the opponent is going to fire off a Thunderbolt there. So, Thunderbolt going to do more damage than the Body Slam. We can fire off 4 counters, fire off our own Body Slam here. Body Slam, not going to do too much damage, but the opponent not able to reach another move, potentially running Thunderbolt and Ice Beam for charge attacks. Let's see what the opponent wants to do here. They're waiting at the switch clock. The opponent's going to come back in with Talonflame, and we're actually able to swap out and just barely reach the Swift, winning CMP, taking out the Talonflame, and their final Pokemon is going to be a Credilli, and this game is absolutely over. We can come in with the Obstagoon. Very likely they're going to go for a Rock Tomb here, debuff our attack, but that's okay. We can tank that very comfortably. Fire off the Cross Chop, and whilst yes, we have been debuffed, yes, Cross Chop is non-stab, the opponent recognizing there's nothing they can do, and so they just concede the match. Into the next battle, we're going to see Barbarrel in the lead. We're going to swap into Vigoroth, and we're met with a Ferrothorn, and this is absolutely fine with us. We can no-shield the first charge move here, as the opponent is going to full send the Power Whip. We are now going to go for 3 counters. Not very good charge move timing there. We should definitely go for 1 counter or 4 counters because we give away a full Bullet Seed in for free there, and you're going to see, even though we go for Rock Slide, which does hit slightly harder, we do not get the KO because we gave that free Bullet Seed, and we actually do end up losing switch advantage, which is we're not really ideal there, but we're going to come back in with the Ursaluna. We're now going to swap into our Obstagoon, and the opponent is triple weak to the fighting typing. I mean, to be fair, this team is also triple weak to fighting as well, so if we see something like a Blaziken, we are absolutely going to struggle, but the opponent definitely not looking too good in the situation. They bait with a Fire Punch, and now at this point we can just go straight for these cross chops. First one was going to be no shielded by the opponent. The second one is of course shielded here. At this point we can probably just commit to a full counter farm down. They fire off the Scorching Sands, and actually we're going to swap, catch the next charge attack onto the Ursaluna. And this is fine with us. The opponent will not be able to farm us down with the barrel. They're going to be forced to throw a charge attack. At this point we just let the Ursaluna go down. Surf gets the KO. We can come in with the Obstagoon. Once again, not throwing on very good timing there. Definitely should be trying to throw after 4 counters, but anyways, we're still able to reach another cross chop. Cross chop, of course, super effective. It gets the KO, we get the counter farm down, and we're able to take that game. Into next battle, we're going to see a Clodsire in the lead. So again, this is where we want to see it. We do have high horsepower for that coverage. Probably nukes the Clodsire by the time we do reach it. The opponent full sends the Earthquake before swapping into a Ferrothorn. And honestly, I'd probably prefer if we come in with the Obstagoon here, just because we do have neutral charge attacks. We've seen already, if we don't throw on the best timing, this isn't actually that good of a matchup anymore for the Vigoroth. But this time we do throw on much better timing, firing off the Body Slam there. At this point, maybe we just shield once and commit to a full counter farm down. They did go for the Acid Spray there. So this time they full send the Power Whip, and we do shield that up. We go for the farm down. We're going to come out with quite a lot of energy here. Fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam not going to do much damage into Clodsire, but the opponent, even with that debuff to our defense, will not be able to Poison Sting farm us down. And so the opponent is eventually going to have to throw a charge attack. We're happy to no shield as the opponent goes for a Sludge Bomb there. We're going to come back in with the Ursaluna, and we're going to throw a Swift on the CMP ties. So very good timing there. However, we do have back-to-back charge moves. Maybe would have made sense to throw one turn early, just because in case the opponent shields like they do so here, then maybe we could have thrown another move first. But anyways, we commit to a full tackle farm down, and their final Pokemon is going to be Magcargo. So we're full sending the high horsepower. It is unfortunately shielded, but that's okay. We can come in with the Obstagoon. However, this is going to be a little bit tricky for us, as Cross Shot will not get the KO. The opponent can still overfarm a little bit if they want to. They don't actually. And as a result, Overheat gets the one shot there, but Ursaluna can come back in. We're able to reach a last second Swift, and from this range, despite being resisted, it takes out Magcargo, and we're able to take that game. Into next battle, we're going to see Quagsire in the lead, likely going to be on Water Gun as the fast move, so we say swap into our Vigoroth, and the opponent, because they did not have to swap out there, outpaces us by a single turn to the charge move before coming in with a Moongus. Now, we're going to go for Rock Slide here. Both charge moves are going to be neutral damage, so Rock Slide going to do slightly more damage here. We're now going to go for the Body Slam, maybe threaten a shield from the opponent, and nope, they do actually just no shield that. So at this point, we're probably just going to no shield here. The opponent is going to go for a Grass Knot, taking us out, but that's okay. We can actually come back in with the Ursaluna, and yes, if they do reach another charge attack, probably just shield anyways. Grass Knot would do a lot of damage, but we are double resisting the Astonish damage here. We're going to come out with a Swift loaded. They come back in with the Quagsire, so we go straight for Swift. Swift is going to be no shielded. We're actually staying in here. Going to outpace them to the next Swift as well. Probably grab a shield in this scenario, and then actually just looking to stay in. Force the opponent to throw, but no. The opponent throws at the last possible second there. Honestly, that was getting a little bit dicey there, but they do actually farm up to back-to-back charge moves, so that does make sense. We're going to no-shield this. The opponent's going to have Magcargo in the back, and things are looking fairly good for the Obstagoon. Could have gone for one extra counter there, I do believe, but Cross Shot going to grab the final shield there. At this point, we should be able to shield our Obstagoon, go for two more counters, fire off the Cross Shot straight away, and this probably won't quite get the KO since they did debuff us, but nope, never mind. Cross Shot does get the KO there. We can go for that counter farm down, and we're able to take that game. Okay, into next battle, and this is going to be a problem for our team. We've just mentioned there are a lot of Pokemon weak to counter in this meta, and our entire team is going to be weak to counter. So we fire off the Swift. We're now swapping into Vigoroth, not allowing the full farm down here. We are going to shield this. They full send a Blast Burn, which is definitely massive overkill. That will now allow us to reach a Body Slam. Body Slam, going to grab a shield there from the opponent, and the opponent is able to reach a last second charge move. The opponent going to go for Blaze Kick. They probably could have just settled for Blaze Kick the last time, but either way, we've got all shields down from the opponent. They come in with a Swampert, and we can reach a Swift before they fully farm us down. Swift is going to do some decent damage. We can now swap into our Obstagoon, and with Blaziken in the lead, hopefully there isn't a huge threat to the Obstagoon in the back. We're going to shield up the charge move. The opponent is going to swap into Credilli, but that's absolutely fine with us. Night Sash is going to be no shield, of course. All shields are down. Obviously, would have preferred to go for a Cross Shot there, as it is super effective, but it doesn't really matter. They can go for Rock Tomb. We can now considerably overfarm, throwing on very good timing there. We're going to go for the Cross Shot. Cross Shot does not get the KO, but we're going to swap there just in case the opponent does get damage registration error, making sure we make that catch. They come back in with Swamp Up, but unfortunately, they're able to outpace us to the charge attack. Hydro Cannon gets the KO, and we do end up losing that game. I thought we had that in the bag there after that catch, but unfortunately not. But anyways, into the next battle, I'm going to see a Clodsire in the lead once again. I can't really tell if that's a small Clodsire or if Ursaluna is just massive, but either way, we are going to no-shield they bait with a Sludge Bomb, which we tank very comfortably. High horsepower does huge damage and actually does not get the KO, which is marginally better for us as we do get the farm down. At this point, we're going to fire off the Swift here. Probably should be swapping into our Vigoroth after the Swift, but actually, nope, never mind. We're just going to let them fully farm us down here. Don't want to be switch locked, although it doesn't really matter too much. Vigoroth and Obstagoon do play very similarly, but we're going to no-shield. They full send the Scorching Sands. We are just barely able to reach a Body Slam before they farm us down. Body Slam, going to be no-shielded. Their final Pokemon is a Shadow Swampert, and with a shield advantage, we should be okay here. We're going to fire off that Night Slash straight away as soon as we get there. Night Slash grabs the final shield. We do not get the boost. However, it doesn't really matter at this point. We're going to shield here. Probably going to double shield as they will outpace us to the next charge attack as well. We should live the Hydro Cannon, but might as well play it safe. Use that shield there. We are now going to randomly overfarm for no reason whatsoever, but it doesn't matter. Hydro Cannon doesn't quite take us out there, and Night Slash will be enough damage to get the KO here, taking out the Shadow Swampert, and we're able to take that game. But yeah, a bit of an unnecessary overfarm. But anyways, into the next battle, we're going to see Talonflame once again. So once again, we will outpace them to that first charge attack. Going to fire off the Swift just before they do reach their move. And they actually no-shield this time around. So at this point, maybe we no-shield as well. We are going to no-shield. They go for Fly. That does quite a lot of damage. But they swap into Furret. So we're actually going to come in with Obstagoon. Obstagoon, great matchup here unless they've got Brick Break. Brick Break is, of course, double super effective. We no-shield anyways, and it is just a Trailblaze. So that's fine with us. Trailblaze, not going to hit for too much damage. It does boost up their attack, but we get that counter farm down anyways. They're going to come back in with the Talonflame. We don't throw on the best timing there, throwing after 3 counters, which means they get pretty much a full Incinerate through, but they actually no-shield anyways, and that is definitely fine with us. They're going to come in with their final Pokemon, a Serperior. Night Slash, going to be no-shielded, and at this point, we can probably just commit to a full counter farm down. I'd probably shield the first move here. They do full send that Frenzy Plant. We are going to throw. I'm not so sure we need to throw Body Slams here. I think the win condition is just fully counter farming them down. But anyways, we're probably going to have to shield the next charge move here. The opponent is once again full sending the Frenzy Plant. They do reach another charge move, but Vigoroth has some okay bulk. We can tank it, and we can go for that counter farm down to take that game. Into next battle, we're going to see another Clodsire in the lead. I feel like I haven't really seen too many Clodsire in this meta, but we've seen 3 of them in the lead right now. We are going to no-shield the first charge move once again, and the opponent is going to full send the Earthquake, but we're able to tank it, and once again, going to come in with our Vigoroth up against the Ferrothorn. Again, I don't know if maybe we should be coming in with the Obstagoon here, but either way, going to no-shield that first charge move, and we are going to throw on CMP this time around. So winning CMP, Body Slam will not get the KO though, so are we going to shield and farm down, or will we no shield? We're going to shield this. Going to go for that farm down. Yeah, I think if we come in with the Obstagoon, we probably do win switch advantage there. But anyways, they're going to come back in with the Clodsire. We can spam out these Body Slams. Body Slam, not going to do too much damage, but I don't know if they will be able to Poison Sting farm us down before we reach a third Body Slam in this matchup. So let's see how this plays. The opponent is not going to commit to that farm down. Instead, throwing a charge move. Sludge Bomb gets the KO there. We can come back in with the Ursaluna, and once again, going to look to overfarm massively, firing off the Swift. Swift gets the KO there. Their final Pokemon is going to be a Flygon, so firing off another Swift, then probably going to swap straight away into our Obstagoon, and again, we can probably just commit to a full fast move beatdown, as long as we shield the first charge move here. The opponent fires off the Dragon Claw. We are committing to that farm down. The opponent will reach another charge attack, but this is just another Dragon Claw, which we can tank. The opponent still had 2 shields, but couldn't use them, and we're able to take that game. Into next battle, bit of an awkward lead matchup for us. We are a ground-type Pokemon, but it does take an absolute eternity to reach that high horsepower. Once again, we're swapping into our Vigoroth when we've got Obstagoon in the back. I don't know if we're maybe just predicting something like a Furret as the other Pokemon there, which Obstagoon would have a better matchup into. But again, yeah, I don't really see the play here for Vigoroth just because Body Slam is resisted. We do have to go down a shield to maintain alignment here, although we can probably grab that shield back from the opponent with a Rock Slide. But anyways, the opponent is, well, okay, we're not going to throw after 2 counters. Instead, over-farming considerably, firing off the rock side. The opponent, what are they doing? I don't understand what's just happened there. But we can fire off another rock side, and their final Pokemon is going to be a Gliscor. So this is a little bit awkward for the Obstagoon. Obviously, Fury Cast is going to hit for super effective damage, but we can go for Swift here. We can go for a second Swift straight away, and probably just stay in with the Ursaluna, force the... No, what the heck? They're not even going to shield. I don't really know what's going on at this point in time. But anyways, Ursaluna going to be going down to the Aerial Ace. Obstagoon can come in and just counter, farm them down, and we're able to take that game. But a bit of a strange game there. Into next battle, we're going to see a Ludicolo. The opponent is going to respond with their Magcargo up against our Vigoroth Safe Swap. That is not the best answer to a Vigoroth. We're going to go straight for Rock Slide. Rock Slide, going to be no shielded. And we just get the full counter farm down there. Again, not really... These are some very strange plays from Magcargo, but they're going to come in with a Shadow Steelix. So here, we're going to go for the Body Slam. We tried to throw on CMP. The opponent is not going to throw straight away, and probably not actually going to throw at all here, committing to a full farm down. But we do at least reach a second Body Slam here, and whilst it is resisted damage, it does get them very low. So we can now come in with the Ursaluna. Gonna no-shield this, as the opponent full sends the Earthquake there. But now we can come in with the Obstagoon. Of course, not going to shield the Ursaluna there just because it doesn't have much play into the Ludicolo. They're going to go for a Scald there. Not really sure if they debuffed our attack or not, but either way, we fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash is going to be shielded by the Ludicolo, and we're going to look to throw here, but the opponent does just barely outpace us to the next charge sweep. They go for Scald once again. Actually, a CMP tie, which we lose, but that's okay. Night Slash is going to grab the final shield. We get the boost as well, which is huge for us. The opponent does make a very nice catch there. However, I don't think it helps them, as we are boosted. The opponent comes back in with the Ludicolo. We're able to swap, catch the charge attack. The opponent goes for Scald there. One more counter, gets the farm down up against Ludicolo, and we take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, if you want to take your support to the next level, you can become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments of every video. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has become a channel member already. Your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.